Okay, turn 15. We actually bounced off this province, Light Hills. We can view that battle. I just didn't send enough infantry, and my archers didn't have enough of an impact. He put in a little bit more province defense than I expected, I guess. And his archers actually have pretty significant armor, which I didn't expect either. So these are good archers, and then he has the good heavy infantry as well. So basically, my infantry charged in. They were fighting the militia. They were doing okay, and then, while they were chewing up the militia, these heavy infantry got back into the Heelot archers, and it kind of went south. The archers stopped shooting, the archers ran, and when the archers broke and ran, of course, my commander also broke and ran, because Heelot archers have garbage morale no matter what. So my Phlegra commander broke and ran, and that, of course, broke the Heelot soldiers, because they have low morale. I would have won this if they kept fighting, but they didn't, so I lost. And my commander was actually caught and killed. Problems. We did win in Mountains of Madness, however. We had a significantly larger and stronger army, and despite the enemy having heavy cavalry, we pretty much rolled over them. We took one casualty among the Iron Guard, and other than that, we just basically annihilated everything we touched, which is fine. I think that casualty was even friendly fire, possibly. No, they were kills. One of the heavy cavalry hit me on the charge and killed an Iron Guard, and then one of the light cavalry, I think with their bow, yeah, shot one of the Heelot archers, which is fine. Unfortunately, Pangaea has gotten to Ulm first with a large ragtag army of primarily mercenaries. So they've got some centaur cataphracts down here. They've got these heavy cavalry or mercenaries. They have a bunch of centaur sages in the back. A couple of pale ones. That is Hector Stark, the captain. And two pale ones. Who's the captain of the other mercenary unit they've got? Yes, this troubadour. Rivaud, the troubadour, has a gang of archer mercenaries. And I think they've got one other group of mercenaries in here as well. But in any case, the primary bulk of this army is actually mercenary units and then hastily recruited cheap infantry. Just chaff, but they are doing their best. Dropping their blessing and spamming Mind Burn, which works well against Ulm. So the Ulmish province defense gets wiped out. Some of Pangaea's units do rout the heavy cavalry, but they don't make it off the field, so they're still fine. Lost 4 of their heavy cav, 1 of their Amazons, and beyond that, they are in good shape. They've still got about 100 units sieging down Ulm. So, that means that probably not going to get Ulm's capital unless Ulm manages to break the siege. If Ulm manages to break this siege, but takes heavy casualties in the process, then I will, of course, move in. So Lemnos is actually going to search for magic sites right here. Weenie Jr. is going to move down this way and take that province. Up here, we are going to assemble some more troops real quick under Trast and send them south in order to reinforce one or the other. We do have 4 communion slaves at this point, so we could buff these guys up to level 3 and then use them to cast spells. Specifically, they can cast Strength of Giants at this point, which is a pretty significant buff spell. However, taking them all off at this point would destroy my research, because I mean 5, 10, 15, 20, 42, and my total research is 96 right now. So that would kill half of my research, and I don't really want to kill half my research right now. I am, like, research-wise, I need more research. I'm at 118 after I set those Cyclops back to researching, which is fine. I've got my Dwarven Hammer now. What was the other guy doing? I forget. He wasn't casting a spell. Huh. Anyway, so I do have a Dwarven Hammer now, which is great, because that means that I can give it to him, and then later on he can use it to pump out more Dwarven Hammers for cheap. But I need to hit Construction Level 4 and ideally Alteration 4 before the Laestrygonians come out. And the Laestrygonians will be coming out sometime pretty soon. Like I said, I've always had it happen before turn 30. So within the next 15 turns, I need to hit those 2 goals, and then I would love to also hit Thaumaturgy 3 for Iron Will. That would be super, super valuable, super, super bad, super fly, etc. Other similar words and phrases. Actually, why am I moving my priest? Don't move the priest. Give these to Give him to a mook. There we go, give him to a mook. Just defend, I guess. And move down and move down. We've got him site searching. We've got him site searching. We've got the Gigantist site searching. We've got Nora moving to site search. We also got a Water 2 Jade Sorceress, which is fantastic. That is pretty cool. Excuse me. So, everything's going well. I'm definitely going to get this province. I'm probably going to get this province. I might even get this. And then the question will be, like, Ulm. I would love to have Ulm. I want Ulm. Odds of me getting Ulm seem fairly slim unless Pangaea screws up. He does have a Demi-Lich defending it, so if he can hit enchantment at a high enough level, he might be able to win via Skelespam and drive Pangaea off, at which point I have a chance to move in. But we'll see. Like, it's a little bit wondering, a little bit worrisome. That's Man right there. I don't know if Man and Pangaea are fighting or what. And of course, Pangaea is recruiting Dryads because that's what Pangaea does, is recruit Dryads and try to assassinate your commanders. Fortunately, I'm actually less vulnerable to that than a lot of people because I have the Dragonians, and so my offensives, at least, will not be able to be completely stopped by Dryads in the way that a lot of offensives against Pangaea can be, because the Dragonians are not assassinatable. And if I buff their morale and magic resistance enough, they will also be very difficult to seduce. Now, that said, the consequences of a Dragonian being seduced by a Dryad are catastrophic. Like, really bad. I would hate to see one of my own Dragonians coming back at me. So, yeah, it has to take place in a province bordering friendly territory unless the seducer is able to fly away, which Dryads can't fly, so that's irrelevant. So, can't seduce me if I'm in my own territory, but if I'm attacking Pangaea with Dragonians, they could potentially be seduced by Dryads, and that, like I said, would be super bad. So, the response to that basically is, the Dragonians have to be always moving. They have to not be on forts, because forts are where the Dryads can seduce from inside the fort for some god-awful reason. And ideally, I would also stack some morale-boosting gear on them, because if I can push their morale up to, like, 18 or whatever, then they're not terribly vulnerable to it. But, of course, that's slots that need to be dedicated to that, instead of to making them hard to kill. Now, the nice thing is, if we go back to that Pretender screen real quick, the nice thing is that Pangaea has somewhat limited magic. They do have the Centaur Sages, and spamming Centaur Sages with randoms will get them a lot of versatility. But mainly they've got Earth and Nature in the Dryads and in the Pans. And of course, every Centaur Sage they recruit is a turn they don't spend recruiting a Dryad. Or a Pan. So, could be worse. Could definitely be worse. Yeah, they've got blood active too. They've taken a blood god. Well, obviously. So, we'll see how it goes. We will just have to see how it goes. Christine has moved away, probably up there. We completed our negotiations. I'm going to be taking these 4. And then, like I said, once I get the Dragonians, I'll move them into the water and take the whole lake because, haha, you can't stop me, basically. That's basically my logic behind that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I am definitely worried about Pangaea. They're probably my biggest worry at the moment. And I'm also worried about Ragha, mainly because, well, it's Algolod. And Algolod is worrisome. Like, under all circumstances, is Algolod worrisome. He's mainly recruiting Athravans in his capital, which is fine. They're decent researchers, and some of them are communion slaves. He could also be recruiting the Zautar at some point soon, and then of course the area Seraphs can only be recruited in cold, but they are his powerful air mages, and they also have pretty decent randoms. Water, Astral. So they'll end up with 2 of those unless they random fire, and if they random fire, they're not super useful at that point, but they can communion up to cast fire spells. So yeah. I'm worried about Algalad as a player. I'm sorry, Althaea as a player. I'm worried about Pangaea as a nation, and josieLOL has been quite competent so far, so that's also a little bit concerning. Eventually I'll have to be worried about Atlantis, because Atlantis will be one of the very, very few threats that can possibly get to my lake and attack my income stream there that I'll have. And beyond that, I'll just have to kind of hold my own on the land. I don't think I'm going to move my mages out. I think I'm going to keep researching just because I really do need to hit those two goals before the Laestrygonians arrive. And I think if I move mages out at this point, I won't. So, we'll aim for the Titans. So in any case, thanks for watching. I will see you all in turn 16. Alright folks, it's turn 16, and we're doing pretty well, to be honest. We've got our third Oppressor Archon out, and we're still researching. I want him to move out to start site searching, because he can site search for level 2 Earth, which not all of my Oppressor Archons can. Because we've got Amrinkius searching for level 2 Fire and Astral. We've got Iontes searching for level 2 Air and Earth, which is very, very valuable. And then this guy can search for level 2 Earth and Astral. I guess actually he's covered by the other two that we have right now, so I might have him sit here and research for the moment. He's expensive for a researcher, but it'll be alright. In any case, we're doing pretty well. We took Light Hills. That was a very easy battle just against that province defense. We lost one Helot soldier in the process. And our Helot soldiers, I believe, are... they've still got a battle or two to go before they start promoting. And of course, they do get that 1 experience per turn. So with these guys, we could just sit them in a province and have them patrol for a while, and they would eventually promote. Same with the iron soldiers, the Helot soldiers that we're recruiting. If they just sit around for 25 turns, they promote. You don't want to do that. You want them fighting in battles, but it is an option. We've got a great big Abyssian stack up here. 100 Abyssian infantry, which I'm not a big fan of. They can't possibly attack me. They're coming to attack Midgard, which is fine by my lights. Abysia is also under attack from Agartha, and of course is fighting Midgard, which is fine. I am perfectly happy to have them be doing that. And my scouts are slowly beginning to infiltrate the place. Starting to recruit mages, I don't actually need to do that. I'm going to keep recruiting scouts for now. That'll save me a little bit of gold. The most interesting stuff this turn is that I found a couple of magic sites. So in the second forest, I found the Well of Whitewater, which gives me a water gem, and I found the Cave of the Pale Ones, which is a great site for me. It gives me death and earth gems, so that's my first death income, and I'm up to 4 earth gems per turn. Plus it enables me to recruit Pale Ones. Pale Ones are terrible soldiers, but they're extremely gold efficient siege chaff because they have this siege bonus. So their siege strength is 3.4, which means you pay 9 gold for 3.5 siege strength. That's more efficient than any other option I have gold-wise. I mean, Iron Guard in terms of upkeep are cheaper, but their siege strength is, you know, half, and they cost more gold. My Helots even, they're efficient. I mean, 8 gold for 1 siege strength, and then their upkeep cost is only 3 gold a year. But they don't provide as much as the Pale Ones do. And Pale One upkeep is still not bank-breaking. 7 gold a year, it's less than, it's like a half per month. So I am going to slowly recruit a few Pale Ones in order to pack into my armies. In addition, they don't eat, and they are amphibious. So I can use them as chaff for my Laestrygonians if I need to underwater. This turn, Christine claimed the Throne of Flames, which I can only think is this throne up here. So I think Relay just teleported their Uttervast onto this throne, wiped it out, and then captured and capped it, which is sort of hilarious. It is really nice that that's the Throne of Flames, though. Up here, looks like Pangaea might get pushed off next turn, potentially. There's a lot of rangers here, a number of Zweihanders and infantry, and there's a bunch of crossbows over here. So this army is also fairly ragtag. Ulm might succeed in throwing Pangaea off their capital, which would be really nice because I am just now concentrating my forces. So I'm going to have 100 units down here. And in addition, Weenie Jr.'s army of 68 units is going to be down here in Kunal. So if Pangaea gets pushed off of Ulm, I will be in a position to try and make a play for it. I may also be able to make a play for Strongbay, but I think Tianqi is going to get that. Which is fine. If I get the capital, Tianqi can have Strongbay. So, given that, I'm, like, I almost want to hedge my bets here. Like, I almost want to have Lemnos just stay here and move Trask down that way. Because then, if Ulm retakes the capital, then I have the opportunity to attack immediately, and I think that might be what I do. I might just sit there, have Weenie Jr. move south. We're going to bump the defense here up to 6. We're going to bump the defense here to 6, just for funsies. And we're going to bump the defense here to 6. That leaves us just enough money to recruit one more Healet. We're short of resources there, but here we have enough to recruit one more Healet soldier. Excellent. We're really starting to get forts online too. We're upgrading this to a fortress. We've got the lab. In 2 turns, that'll be fully active. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fully active forts, and 1 on the way. Upkeep is starting to hit us, mainly from mages, because these guys, the Cyclope Smiths, are quite expensive. That's, what is that? It's like 14 gold a month. 14 times 12, 140. It's actually more than that. It's like 16 gold a month, something like that. So these guys are costing us the most. They actually cost us more than Oppressor Archons do. But that's okay. Everything else is slaves. I do not know why my microphone keeps falling. I have got to do something about this, because it is getting to be a problem. This is twice now in a row that it's fallen on me. I need a new stand or something. In any case, so we're doing pretty well. Like I said, I'm thinking I may have a shot at taking Ulm, which would be fantastic. Man is over here doing their Manish thing. I don't know where Man's capital is. That's Man's capital. Okay. So they've got pretty decent expansion on this side. Pan's a little close to them on that side. They got decent... I don't know if that's Man or Ulm right there. And I don't know who's on their other side. I do know Agartha. So yeah, this should be Agartha, I believe, because Agartha is fighting Abysia, I've been told. And that... Who don't I see? Because I've got Atlantis. Tianxi is down here somewhere. Atlantis, Tianxi, Ulm, Pangaea, Man, Midgard, Ragha, Abysia. I don't see Utgard. I don't see Erytheia. Mictlan is dead. I don't see Marignon. Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, I think Erytheia must be down in this area, because if they were over here, then this lake would be owned by Erytheia already. So they must be over here in this lake fighting with Relay. So I can ignore them for now. I'm just starting to get a little bit of preemptive forging done. I'm forging a lead shield this turn with Mimon. Since I have the hammer, I might as well put it to use. So I'm hoping to stock up with a few items for my first Laestrygonian. So I've got a Firebrand already, good weapon. I've got the lead shield coming. As soon as I hit construction level 4, so construction level 3 will be in 2 turns, construction level 4 will probably take 2 or 3 turns after that. That will put it at around turn 23. I might have Enceladus by that time. We'll see. When I get Enceladus, incidentally, I'm just going to move him to Golan Fens, because I don't care about him killing the population in Golan Fens. And he'll just be able to stand there and sulk for a while and generate fire gems for me. So that'll be the plan with him. But then my first recruited Laestrygonian is going to go underwater. I may well make Enceladus my prophet. That will make him unmind controllable, and it will also give him an HP bonus in my territory. And it'll make him Holy 3. And that will mean that he can bless himself. Or actually, I think as the prophet in Dominion, he's auto-blessed. He's always blessed. The prophet is always blessed, right? So yeah, so then I can use his body slot for something else, make him much, much tougher, and use him as a defensive super combatant. I won't want to like throw him too far out into enemy territory, because he will take the HP penalty for being in someone else's dominion, like Weenie Jr. here. See, he has dominion penalty for being in just one candle, is already cutting his HP by like 10%. But Enceladus will still be able to function as a very powerful defensive super combatant and crush the worm-like enemies that dare to raise their hands against me. And that is, of course, the goal. This fort is going to have to go at some point pretty soon. Like I said, I'm still kind of pondering who it is that I'm going to fight after I fight Ulm, after Ulm is finished off. And I'm just really not sure. I've already taken pretty significant territory from Ulm, which is great. I'd love to get their capital and this, and maybe even Strongbay. But at the same time, that will mean my empire is very long and very skinny. which is a very vulnerable place to be, because it means that it's possible for 3 or 4 other players to all coordinate in attacking you at once, and it's hard to defend. So I think probably I'll stop there in terms of southward expansion, and then I need to move either left or right, or I could, of course, fight Abysia and take their territory up to this river. The river provides a decent... well, it's got bridges in all 3 provinces. The river cuts off some angles of attack. Like here, you can't, especially in my Heat Dominion, you can't go across from this province to this province. You have to go through these provinces. Here, you can only come from this province. Here, you can't come from that province. Here, you can't come from that province. So it cuts off some avenues. It will make organizing to attack across the river a lot more difficult. And this province is cut off as well. So you have to be amphibious, or you have to coordinate a lot. That would be fine. That would be a decent defensive area to hold. And, of course, it would give me a 3rd capital. But I'm thinking probably the slightly better play would be to attack Ragha. Ragha will have pretty powerful magic. In particular, they'll have a lot of air magic. Because look, they already have some area seraphs. And of course, they're recruiting mainly Athravans. Or Athravans, however you pronounce that. I think it's Athravan. And the Athravans are actually weak mages, but some of them can communion. Then the area seraphs, of course, are air mages and water mages who can communion. And Althaea is very, very good at getting the most out of her magic. So that would be a risk, but I'm thinking I send my Laestrygonian tyrants into the sea, and once I've gotten around the sea, I of course end my non-aggression pact with Relay, conquer the rest of the lake, and then I just turn immediately on Ragha and have the Laestrygonians coming out of the water while my armies advance on Bright Woods. I don't think Ragha could stop me from doing that. Now, the limiter, of course, I don't see most of Ragha's territory. I don't know what Ragha has, because all I see is these 6 provinces, and I know for a fact she's got more than 6 provinces. She has to. She's a better player than that. She has to have at least 10 to 15 provinces at this point. So, probably she has, like, all of these provinces out here until she ran into somebody. Probably not Tianchi. Tianchi's a little far up, but somebody in this area, possibly Erytheia. This is Atlantis, so that means she probably does not have these provinces. She might have this one, Raspberry Woods, but probably not. Probably she's expanded up this way. And of course she's recruiting turtle warriors in order to try and get underwater. Now, getting underwater is not going to work next to me. She can probably grab that. She might be able to get these, I suppose. Probably not, because that's Atlantis, so Atlantis probably already owns all of this. But she might be able to get this little landlocked lake and do something with it. In any case, that's all planning for the future. For right now, the Gigantist is moving around site-searching, my Archons are moving around site-searching, my armies are collecting for an attempted attack on Ulm. Actually, I am going to move them all over this way, just because, while it'll cost me 1 turn if I can go for Ulm, if I end up going for Strong Bay, it will speed me up, and it'll mean I can just move down here and then make the call about which way I'm going to go. So, that'll be the plan. Alright, thanks for watching. I will see you all in turn 17, where hopefully something really interesting will break loose down here. And if not, then we will simply make our plans for the war against either Abysia or Ragha. Going to war against Pangaea, of course, would also be an okay idea. But as I mentioned before, using the Laestrygonians against Pangaea will be more limited, because the main risk there will be seduction. Laestrygonians have high morale, but not incredible morale, and so without their berserk. So I would need to give them something. In any case, I'll see you next turn. Alright folks, it's turn 17. This has been a fascinatingly interesting turn. First of all, Abysia attacked Midgard here in Abysia with what's just basically a big pile of infantry. Abyssian light infantry, it's all Abyssian light infantry, I think. I thought there was some Abyssian heavy infantry in here, but no, it looks like all Abyssian light infantry. So this is what Abyssians become in the late age. A little bit less fire resistance, much lighter armor in their light infantry, because the half-breeds can use wooden weapons and light armor because they're not so hot and they won't set it all on fire. This is the Prophet, and put litter in its place. Wow, rude. And his bless is, he's gone for an assassin meme bless. So, okay, I expected this from Nasajin, actually. The way this works is, Abyssia's sacred assassins can bless themselves and or use holy water. And with quickness, strength, and combat speed plus 90%, they can actually rush across the field and attack enemy mages before those enemy mages cast a spell. And get into melee with their like poisoned or draining weapons or whatever they have, and just stab mages to death before they get a chance to retaliate. So that's very, very useful. And he attacked literally nothing. Like, I think this is 1 point of province defense, and he wipes it out. No problemo. And then he gets attacked by Bogus's adventuring crew on the same turn. So Bogus and his buddies show up with, Kartuk the Troll Mage, and Bogus the Troll Raider with his regeneration, and Fadmargast the absurdly overpowered Dark Knight, and this guy who's also there, and Creon the Warrior Mage who is also there. And the dude jumps in and murders the commander in one shot, and then jumps into the middle of the enemy and starts stabbing them, and Bogus is just chasing them off the field, and it is a rout. An incredible rout. So the whole army runs. Only 13 actual casualties, but they lose a bunch more in retreat. We attack Ulm in Kunal, and we run into some province defense. They have a bunch of crossbows here in their province defense, and our army rolls through them pretty okay. Took a few casualties. The Mouflons race around the back and put paid to the crossbows with aplomb. Took a little bit of friendly fire damage from my crossbows, but that's fine. No actual casualties. Mouflons did fine. And then in Ulm, Ulm moved their army up as I anticipated and also broke the siege. So they've got a huge pile of wolves in the back. They've got their heavy cavalry, including a number of mounted commanders, interestingly, and Hector's heavy cavalry, the mercenaries. They've got several members of the second tier with 2 pearls each, 5 of them, counting this guy. They've also got a few black priests scattered in here, and they've got this long, long line of skirmish formation rangers of Ulm. And some regular crossbows, infantry of Ulm and Zweihanders up front, more crossbows in the back, and yeah, there's their black priests. So they've got a number of black priests here who can, of course, throw the iron national spells. On Pangaea's side, they've got elephants, Centaur cataphracts on the flank, big middle chunk of Dryad hoplites in a box, some mixed Amazons and Satyr hoplites to the flanks. They've got I'm Successful, Cheryl Loves Me, This So-Called Judge, Small Loan of $1 million, and My Fingers Are Long and Beautiful, all lined up right here. Chunk of archers on the side. They've got their Centaur sages in the back with some Satyr backup, and that's about it for them. So, right at the start of the battle, Ulm casts several magic duels. And the magic duels succeed in wiping out a bunch of the Centaur sages. Now, it also kills off a few of his mages. You may notice, all of a sudden, he went down to having 2 members of the second tier. So he lost a few mages doing that, but he also killed off the enemy communion very, very effectively, because this guy is a communion slave now. And so now they've got 2 communion slaves and 1 communion master, a much weaker communion than they had planned. On top of this, Pangaea's ranged units are archers with short bows that don't do a whole lot of damage, but Ulm's ranged units are crossbows, which do a lot of damage. So the wolves charge in, basically muck up the front line. The elephants start trampling through. The Centaur cataphracts attack down here, get stopped by the infantry and torn apart by the crossbows. In the middle, the elephants get routed by a combination of crossbow fire and wolves. The wolves are at this point basically disintegrated, they're gone. But that they bought time for the heavy cavalry to charge in and also muck these guys up. The war elephants trample back through the Pangaean infantry, which causes some chaos. And a few of the Centaur cataphracts reach the enemy crossbow line, but not many, and the Centaur cataphracts, now in close range of the crossbows, are getting torn to shreds. The Ulmish mages are just firing vaguely, but basically, Ulm is just gobbing these guys up. The Dryad hoplites with their powerful, powerful bless, is just gobbing them up, and even with 19 damage, even with 19 piercing damage, you're not going to hurt Zweihanders very fast, because they have 21 protection, and It's effectively 19 damage versus what's minus 20% versus like 17, 16, 17 proc. Not very much of an advantage. So the Rangers get to fire on this blob as it stands and fights the Zweihaunders and basically tear it apart. So Pangaea actually loses the battle, leaving primarily Rangers. Like, almost basically got Rangers and a small pack of infantry up front left. So if we look at what they have left, most of these units retreated, but they will have survived because they just retreated to the fortress. So they've got 3 Black Priests, 1 member of the 2nd tier, 1 Wolf Herd, 1 Mounted Commander. They've got all 16 of their crossbows. They've got about 60 crossbows all told. 60, actually close to 70 crossbows. About 30 infantry, and a few militia left. So they've got about 100 units left, a little bit more. Primarily crossbows. Like, they've got quite a few crossbows left still. Now, interestingly, my scout report in this province is quite inaccurate. It says they have about 180 units, which I know to be not true because they can't have recruited, and they haven't had time to spawn anything either. So they actually only have about those 100 units left in here. That said, like I mentioned, they have about 70 crossbows, which is double the ranged power that I have in this little squadron. Weenie Jr., if he went in by himself, he could potentially deal damage, but he would lose. So at this point, what I'm left with is, I'm left with the question, do I attack this turn in a bid to lock them down if they don't patrol? Or do I wait one turn for Lemnos to show up with his 100 units, and Fairies to show up with their 40 units, and give me the overwhelming superiority that I need to guarantee that I lock the place down? Because none of my mages are magic duel vulnerable, and while my troops don't have the greatest magic resistance, my troops don't have the greatest magic resistance, especially the Iron Guard do not have very high magic resistance, which is a problem, but it won't be enough of a problem to stop me when they don't have many mages. Now, moving Weenie Jr. in would have the benefit, if successful, of preventing him from recruiting any more mages, and that would be very valuable, but I think I may play it safe. Because, like, I'm looking at this army. Like I said, this army is about like 110 units. I've got about 106 units there, about 140. My units are not noticeably better than his. In fact, his infantry are better than mine. My crossbows are stronger than his in the sense that they're more heavily armored, but otherwise not exceptional. I've got more units pouring on in. I can afford to keep up the pressure. I'm thinking I'm going to wait one turn before I go in. I think that's my strategy right now. Meanwhile, up north, we're site searching there. We're upgrading this to a fortress. We're upgrading both of these to castles. We're starting those builds both this turn because I've got the money. Having the castles will draw more resources, more income, and once I upgrade to citadels, will enable me to pump out more mages. So I'll be able to spam out the shackled mages a lot faster, or 50% faster at least. And of course, this is upgrading to a fortress as of next turn, and so I'm starting to recruit shackled mages there as well. I would also like to start a fortress here next turn. I should have the money for that, so that'll be fine. And I am one turn away from construction level 4. I had a really good random event this turn. A bunch of gold, a few gems, and a free dwarven hammer. A 15 gem value, yours free. So I've got Aratos forging a crown of lead to go with the gear that I already have here. The sword, the lead shield. I'm going to get the crown of lead. I need to hit construction level 4, and then I can forge my first shroud. And yeah, actually, I do need to get Weenie Jr. killed. Yeah, let's send Weenie Jr. in. If he succeeds, if they don't patrol or don't patrol strongly enough, he'll be able to lock them down and prevent them from recruiting anything or summoning any more wolves or anything, which would be great. And then next turn, whether or not he does, my other 2 armies will come rolling in, and they should be able to lock Ulm down pretty much permanently. I don't think he'll be able to get out. I'm moving out 4 of my shackled mages, because I do have a couple of mages down there. I've made sure to calculate my research, so I'm just going to make construction level 4, which is what I need. And unfortunately, I still don't have any air gem income, so I can't forge any quills, which is a bummer. Actually, I could forge 1 quill, But it would reduce my research too much. Tell you what, I don't need the crown just yet. Why don't you? Damn it. Messing myself up. Yeah, never mind. Because he's moving away, you see, so. Well, what I can do is give that to this guy. Have those 4 move. Have you... Yeah, we're fine. Have you forge the air quill. Owl quill. Whatever it is. The thing that makes your research gooder. Do that. Forge that. Okay, that used up all my air gems. But, I mean, 5 more research points a turn, it's worth it. I just need more air gems. I also need more astral pearls. If y'all could, like, get on that. If you could get on finding me some astral pearls, I'd really appreciate it. I really like that. Yeah, Amrinkius is searching here. Nora is moving over. Actually, Nora needs to cross the river so that she can give that ring of water breathing to someone else. Yalmanos needs to keep researching, though, because research is important to me right now. I'm infiltrating Ragha. Like I said, Ragha might be an early target. Ulm is trying to persuade me to turn on Pangaea, which would, in many other circumstances, be a good idea, considering they just lost their biggest and most important army. But, right now, since my armies are currently positioned to attack Ulm's capital, I need to take it first. Only after I take Ulm's capital will I be able to consider attacking Pangaea or anyone else. And then, even then, it will definitely be a toss whether I want to go Pangaea or Ragha. Against Ragha, I'll be able to use the Laestrygonians much more effectively and without having to worry about being seduced. So, yeah, I'm thinking probably Ragha. Now, I actually need to figure something out, because there's an item called the Amulet of the Cat. Cat Charm, sorry. This is not just fluff text. A woman wearing this amulet will become more beautiful, and a man wearing it will become more feminine. There's actually an undocumented in-game effect, which is that the cat charm allows a male who is carrying it to seduce other men. Yes, the cat charm literally turns you into a camp gay. So, or a camp bi, I guess. So, given that, I've been thinking, like, does it make you immune to being seduced by women? I don't know. I should test that, because if so, then I could put a cat charm on a Laestrygonian and use them against Pangaea with impunity. Now, still, I mean, it's using up a slot, it's a problem, but I could potentially swing it if it makes them immune to seduction. So that's something I have to test. In the meantime, though, that is turn 17. I think that's about all I'm doing. Recruitment-wise, I'm getting some Mouflons down here, dual recruiting oppressors, over here spamming infantry and archers, over here spamming infantry and archers / crossbows. Up here, recruiting nothing except starting to work on a shackled mage, and up here, few infantry and a jade sorceress, and yeah, that'll be fine. So, that is the plan, and I will see you all in turn 18.